Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Potty Plant Entertainment. My name is Chris, and in case you don't know, I review movies and I rank them on a scale of 0 to 100 in increments of 5. Today, we are talking about one of the best movies ever made, Seven. And yeah, I know the title is weird. It's like S-E and then the number 7, E-N, which is kind of weird. It's like the Fantastic Four movie that came out several years ago. It was Fant-Four-Stick. But anyways, let's talk about Seven. So it came out in 1995. It stars Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, Gwyneth Paltrow, R. Lee Ermey, and Kevin Spacey. It was directed by David Fincher and is produced by Lynn Harris, Dan Kolsrud, Ann Coppelson, Gianni Nunari, and Richard Saperstein. And this movie tells the story of a serial killer and two detectives who are trying to catch the serial killer, and he's killing people based on which one of the 7 deadly sins they represent. So, the 7 deadly sins, I wrote them down here because I know I wouldn't remember all of them, is gluttony, greed, sloth, envy, wrath, pride, and lust. And he goes on this serial killing spree, killing people based on which one of those they fit best. For example, there is a morbidly obese man, and he kills him in a way that represents gluttony, because that man represents the sin gluttony. And these two detectives, played by Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt, are out to find him. All the while, they're trying to get along with each other because they have clashing personalities. This movie was kind of not really appreciated by critics. A lot of them thought this was just kind of overly gross for no reason, even though it's not. It's gross, but in a good way. I love this movie. I really liked it the first time I saw it, and then when I watched it again, I appreciated it even more. I am that way with movies. Sometimes I have to watch movies multiple times before I start to really get them. I even had to do that with Die Hard. So, even though I really liked it the first time, I liked it even more the second time. And so, I can't tell if I like this one better or if I like Gone Girl better in David Fincher's category. Those are my two favorites, but I probably have to give an edge to this one. And this is often considered to be his best movie, and there's a reason for it. So let me pull this out. And let's talk about why I love Seven. So for one thing, I love how this movie doesn't waste your time. This movie isn't filled with unnecessary fluff. As a matter of fact, when the movie starts out, it immediately introduces you to Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. And it immediately sets up what their relationship is going to be like and how they're going to get along. Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman have really good chemistry with each other. They're really, really good together in this film. This movie is also perfectly casted. I love Kevin Spacey in this movie. By the way, I'm not going to spoil this movie, but I will tell you right off the bat, Kevin Spacey he does play the serial killer in the movie, but I won't say anything about him or like what he does, just out of respect. But after I give my rating for the movie, I am going to be talking about the ending of the movie, because this movie does have one of the most shocking movie endings of all time, and I do want to talk about it. But I'm going to give my rating first, just in case you've never seen Seven. But this movie was really well casted. Everyone is really good in it. And like I said, I think Kevin Spacey is so creepy in this movie when he does show up in the film. I really love it. I like how Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman have clashing personalities, and it makes the duo more enjoyable to watch. We see this a lot, like in Men in Black and Lethal Weapon, how they have clashing personalities, but somehow that's just what makes it work. And I really like that here. I like the buddy cop aspect of the film. And I love buddy cop movies, and so this is one of my favorite buddy cop movies. I like how this movie challenges Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman psychologically. It explores human psychology. For example, there's a scene where Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman are sitting in a bar together, and Brad Pitt is saying that he thinks the city that they live in, which they never name, but it's a city that's always rainy, it's always dark, and everybody in the movie always just talks about how crappy it is. And Brad Pitt says that he thinks the reason why the city has such a surplus in crime is because people there are just mentally unhealthy. And Morgan Freeman thinks it's just from people's straight up lack of caring. People that there just don't care anymore because of how bad it's gotten. And so I like how this movie explores that psychology, but it also explores psychology through the murders and how people think and how they live their lives. It's a very, very interesting look into the human psyche. It's also dark and disturbing, and it really gets under your skin. Like, for example, in the Pride murder, the person is forced to choose between death and disfiguration because they take a lot of pride in their look. And so I like how dark that is. And there's one, the Lust one. They thankfully they don't really show you that one, but they basically all but straight up tell you what happened with that one. That is just so screwed up. I mean, all the murders are really screwed up, but I think the worst one is probably Lust. Um, like I said, it's gross. Yeah, it's gross in a good way. The special effects and the designs of the murders are like really well done. There's a good suspense in this movie. There's a scene where Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman go to the killer's apartment, or at least what they think is the killer's apartment, and then the killer shows up and starts shooting at them. And there's this whole chase scene ensues, and it's really good. This movie is visually fantastic. In that same scene when Kevin Spacey's character gets a gun to his head, to Brad Pitt's head. And you could see all this detail in the rain coming down on them and the blood on Brad Pitt's face. It looks really, really pretty. I like how this movie has a lot of suggestion. It doesn't ever show you these murders. It just suggests to you how horrific they would have been. That's the problem, though. Like one of the problems I have with the girl with the dragon tattoo. I like that movie. Another David Fincher film. I like that movie. I really do. But there's a rape scene in it that I just feel like all they had to do was just suggest it to you. They never really had to show it to you. And so I like how this movie just suggests things rather than showing it to you in order to avoid being too much. I also like how the plot isn't really overly convoluted, even though it so easily could have been. This movie could have been like one of those movies where like you have to really pay attention in order to follow it. But surprisingly, it's not. It's actually a very simple plot. And I gotta admit, I was not expecting that the first time I saw this, nor even the second time I saw it. So that's a genuinely good surprise to me. Not that I don't like movies that like really force you to pay attention, because I do, but it was just a surprise to me this movie knew like it didn't have to do that in order to be good. I also like the mood and the tone, the rain, the constant rain in this movie, and the way that people talk about the city, and the way they convey it to the audience, just how bad this place is. It sets this really dark, moody tone. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to give my rating now, and then we're going to talk about one of the best movie endings of all time. Se7en is an amazing piece of filmmaking. If you've never seen Se7en, don't watch the rest of this video. Just go check it out. It really is worth your time, and I'm going to give it a 100. All right, so now let's talk about this ending. So, it's shocking. The good guys lose in a way that is still satisfying for the audience. I like how John Doe makes Mills wrath, and he makes himself envy because he couldn't live a life like Mills, with a wife, in a good job and an apartment. And Spacey makes some really good points about humanity in the car ride to the place where where the box is delivered, and Morgan Freeman opens it up, and there is Gwyneth Paltrow's head. Again, the art of suggestion, because they don't show you the head, it's just the suggestion of it. And then oh God, what's in the box? Brad Pitt plays that scene beautifully. It's a really, really good piece of acting. And when he shoots Kevin Spacey, it gives into what he wants, and Kevin Spacey ultimately ends up winning. It's a really shocking ending, and they almost changed it. Like, the studio did not want this ending, but Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman lobbied for that ending. They're like, no, this is how this movie should end. It's a really screwed up ending, but then again, it's a really screwed up movie, so it works. I love the ending of this movie. It is really shocking. It comes out of nowhere. It's a jaw-dropping sequence. It's a suspenseful sequence because you don't know whether or not Brad Pitt is going to shoot him. And then the cops up in the helicopter when he does shoot him, they're like, oh God, he shot him. Like, it's filmmaking at its best. And this is what filmmaking is all about. It's writing like this. I love Se7en so much. This is one of the best movies ever made. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Pod Player Entertainment for more. Hit the like button. Leave me reviews, suggestions down in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram at Pod Player Entertainment for channel updates, and much love.